Intelligent Ramblings with your host, Bill Alton. Co-hosted by Gary Glenn and William Howington with help from John Coleman.
Well, how about that, folks? For a celebration. This is our 25th episode here on Intelligent Ramblings. I'm Bill Lofton. I'm your host with my co-host, Gary Glenn and John Cone. And this is Thoughts on Our World. Well, anybody got any thoughts on last week? You guys, how has your week been going?
Going well. Our grandson is here with us.
Well, so far so good.
So far so good? Okay, well.
Yep.
Seems that the New York Attorney General is planning on seizing Trump's assets. Well, he was there. Anyway, Trump is getting his assets seized. And there's William. A little technical difficulties, but we managed to get him here. We just got started, William. We're about a minute and 55 seconds into the show. And first thing we were talking about, what the hell's he doing?
I'm messing around.
The New York Attorney General
He's
to
getting
seize
set.
Trump's assets. I wanted to say that to make sure William heard it.
I heard it.
So they're going to take his hotels. They're going to take Mar-a-Lago. What do you think they're going to take? He's got to come up with $355 million to put up.
That's ridiculous. Who gives these people that kind of power?
So he can get a so he can appeal it.
So it's far from ridiculous. It's actually common, and the fact that he's having to post bond basically in order to appeal is something that would happen to anybody who was in the same situation.
Well, you know, Joel will answer your question. What crime was committed by Trump? He lied. And if we would have done the same thing on a obviously smaller scale, then we would have gone to jail. We wouldn't have, if I lied on my taxes or I lied to get more money. I mean, he lied, and now
Charges.
he's getting, you know.
Charge is fraud, isn't it not?
Yeah,
Isn't
fraud.
that right, John? Isn't it some sort of fraud?
Yeah. Multiple charges
that's a
of
crime.
fraud for the purpose of getting bank loans and insurance.
Yeah, but he got caught. He got caught. He's in the limelight. He got caught. They all lie. We all know that.
That's just the Democrats' sour grapes. Like Joel said, what if a conservative tried to run on taking down Biden? It's the same thing. Biden's done all kind of stuff. He just hadn't, because the Republicans aren't in control, they can't do anything. Good point there, Joel.
Well, you know, I don't know anything about the cocaine in the White House. I don't know how
his son had that cocaine.
they couldn't figure it out. Obviously,
That's right.
they didn't want to find it out. But
No, they didn't want to find it out.
If the investigations come out and Biden's done something, he ought to be liable for that too.
absolutely,
I'm
absolutely
fully in support of the rule of law.
It seems like that. I'm with you, Gary. I agree. It seems like, up to this point anyway, the Republicans doing the investigating aren't able to find anything that sticks. So maybe there's nothing there.
Oh, there's something there, all right.
Yeah, you want to call yourself intelligent Ramans, but you don't know shit. Well, why don't you say how you really feel?
Definitely rambling.
Bill, it's called rambling.
Toasting,
we ramble
toasting
on.
our 25th show.
I think he was aimed that at me. He wanted to make sure I knew it. Okay, I can live with that. But
Maybe we like you better as Jill, Bill.
Jill,
Yeah.
Bill. No, I don't think Gary's wife would handle that too well.
No,
I don't,
probably not.
I won't make it. I wouldn't make a good Jill by any means.
No,
But,
my first name is Robin, and a lot of people think that's supposed to be female. I definitely don't identify as female. So,
Well, that's good.
Love you,
sound
Joel.
very female over the phone.
Love you, Joel. Love you.
Well, Trump's getting
Oh,
the
we need
shaft.
people- we need
I
people
just
to
don't
disagree.
think they ought to be doing this.
Well, it's here's a quote for you.
Nothing should be sorted out in the court of public opinion. Nothing should be sorted out that sticks. Everybody's got their opinion, and they're like faces. Everybody's got one, and some look better than others. Let's get to the rule of law. Let's put it in the courts, and if there's something there, then let it be done. And if there's not, then go on. That's what I say. But then,
Well,
I
can live with
want
that.
people to do the right thing. And if it's
Well,
Trump,
this
it's
is
Trump.
one
If it's
man
Biden, it's
ruling
Biden.
on
If it's
this.
his son,
Where did he get that kind of power?
Well, let me read you a
that's what
quote.
federal judges do.
Let me read you a quote. Trump's agenda and plans look scary. What a nightmare. You know who said that? You know who said that? Alexei Navalny, the Russian dissident that was murdered in prison this week. He said that about Trump. So it's worldwide. They think he's a wackadoo.
Yeah, they don't want him in there because he's the only one who has the guts to stand up to Russia and these other people.
Stand up to Russia. Shit, he's big buddies with Russia. He's Putin's
No,
boy.
No, he wouldn't have let Putin do what he did. It would have never happened if Trump would have been in power. Putin would have never attacked Ukraine. What did I say? Trump? Putin would have never attacked Ukraine.
Well, he
just don't
did
think
twice
would.
in this most recent round of things, and then back in 2014 also. Putin attacked Ukraine, I mean.
Yeah, it's reverse psychology, Joel. They're saying they would rather have Biden than Trump because they want the country to vote for Trump. It's reverse psychology. That's how that works.
Oh, that's not reverse psychology.
Well, think about it for a minute. If you were one of our allies, think about it from their point of view. If you're West Germany or Poland or Ukraine for that matter, who would you rather have to deal with in the office of the president? Joe Biden or Donald Trump? They've got experience with both, and they I think to a country would say we'd rather deal with Joe Biden.
Well, sure they would. He's got no claw to him.
I don't know about our allies.
I'm going to turn the
I think
tables
our-
on this
our
one,
allies
okay?
want people to
William,
support
back
them.
up what you're saying. Tell me how Joe Biden doesn't have a claw to him. He's the one pushing for aid to Ukraine, but we can't get it through Congress because the GOP won't let it. And he's the one that has been supporting Ukraine from the get-go. So you're going to have to explain to me how he's not doing those things, because he is.
I think the Democrats want a little stuff added to that package to the Ukraine. The Republicans aren't in favor of. I'm not sure what, but
I can't say I've
something holding it up.
Republicans
read it, so I can't agree or disagree.
Well, the Republicans are holding up some other stuff. That's all politics. They're holding up some stuff on the border because of some other stuff they want to tack onto that. It's all of this pork that gets put into the bills in order, and it's deal making and deal breaking. If you give me this, I'll give you that. If you don't give me that, you don't have my support.
Yeah, they need to get it straight and just do something right for once. Both of them, Democrats and Republicans.
I hear you, William. I'm with you on
The
that.
plague of both their houses.
What else is going on?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Biden, the former informant in court charged with spreading lies about President Biden and Hunter Biden. I mean, what's that about? I mean, this guy's just making shit up and telling everybody as he's going along, and it was a complete lie. And that basically punches a hole in the Republican impeachment stupidity they're trying to spew out, trying to impeach Biden, which will never happen. And even if it does, it doesn't do anything. Just it's more time of wasted taxpayer money, as far as I'm concerned. The impeachment of Trump was a waste of time. Both of them, first president in history to get that happen to him. But it's a waste of taxpayers' money. It doesn't do anything. So it's just a slap on the wrist.
It's, the precedent is, there's a bunch of people that have wanted to see people get impeached. But the fact of the matter is, all the way back to Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, even if they bring impeachment against them, it never goes anywhere.
I did say Trump twice. I said it was a waste of money with Trump as well. Didn't do nothing to him.
It was a waste of money with Clinton. Now, the only one that probably would have been impeached was Nixon, but he quit.
Yeah, he got the hell out.
I think they would have made that one stick.
Before shit hit the fan.
And then Ford got in and pardoned him. So
right away.
End of story.
And Nikki Haley has said that she would go ahead and pardon Trump if she got elected. She has said that. Heard her say it myself on national TV. So
I'm not so sure that's a bad idea either. I'm sort of over all of this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the politics. I'm tired of the left saying this and the far right saying that. Why don't we get on to the business of governing the country and doing some things that would really make a difference in the lives of ordinary citizens? And there's plenty of stuff on the table that could be done.
Speaking of President Biden forgave more student loans. Should he be doing this? Should he be forgiving student loans for people that said, okay, I'm going to college, but I don't have the money, but I can get the government to pay for it, and then I'll pay it back in payments over the next 20 years? Should he forgive student loans? And I'll preface this. Is that right? I'll add on to it, and then I'll shut up. The fact that I have a student loan and my wife has a student loan. Would I like somebody to come in and hand me the money that I'm paying for my student loans? Hell yeah. I'd love it. Make my day. Do I think he should? I have a mixed reaction on that, because when I took my student loans out to go to Gwinnett Tech, I knew I was going to have to pay them back. I was going to have to work to pay them back. And, people saying it's not fair, I don't know. I really don't know.
Of course it's not fair. What are you going to do with the people that... I paid for 3 kids to go to college, and I didn't have any loans.
Well,
allow me to be just a little bit pissed off about it, because I did take out some student loans and I paid them all back, me and my wife. and we don't owe anybody anything. So I think this is, we got to get past some of this entitlement stuff. I mean, I understand where some of this is, and I'm sure there are avenues to be able for not necessarily complete debt forgiveness, but there should be some way, somehow, some payment plan to make it equitable. I mean, you know, all the people like me who took money out and borrowed it and paid it back, I mean, all of a sudden you're just going to up and forgive them? I mean, the federal government's acting like God.
I mean, that's the big question. What about the people like Gary that borrowed money to go to school and paid it back? Are you going to give them their money back too? You know.
Sure, hand me all that money back. I mean, and some of these things are called entitlement programs. Well, if you've not paid into it, and they give you basically money for nothing, like that old song, then yeah, that's entitlement. Things like I've been paying into all my life, and most of us have, like Social Security and those kinds of things. Does that mean I'm entitled to my money? Well, hell yeah, I'm entitled to my money. Or you just give me all back in a lump sum. Well, I understand, Allie, what you're saying, but, you know, if you can't, what's the saying? If you can't do the time, then don't do the crime.
Yeah.
If you don't have
absolutely.
the money to go, then you need to save up money to go.
Or get a job in a factory.
Right, Kenny.
Yeah,
Right. Get a
Kenny,
job and save it up. There've been plenty of people who've done that.
And I'll exclamate this statement here, agree with Joel in the fact that he's trying to court the young vote. That's what he's after.
Yeah.
And I think
he's got to do something. I mean, come on, based on a lot of the gaffes that he's seen him commit over these last year or two, he doesn't need to be running for president, and Trump doesn't either. You know, I think
agree.
They're both kind of old for that job.
Well, I will definitely go into that later. Everybody needs or deserves to go to college. I agree. I mean,
Absolutely.
Go to technical school. It costs you a 1/16 of what it costs to go to a college, and you can learn a trade. And there's a lot of companies that will pay your tuition to go to technical college to learn a trade, and then you go work with them. You know.
Well, and
it's a
if you
benefit.
look at if you look at the employment rate of people coming out of technical colleges, it's well over 90%. 90 plus percent. I mean, come on. And we're not talking about people making $10 an hour. We're talking about people who are making pretty good money.
Well, I do agree that it's tougher to find a way to make a living these days. You know.
Well, it depends on what you're willing or wanting to do.
Yep.
There's something out there for somebody. And everybody can work.
There's a problem. There's something that we need to probably be doing. Equitable housing, affordable housing.
That's right, Joel. You're going to need those kind of jobs.
Okay. What was this all about?
Paying back student loans.
No, I'm talking about what I'm coming up with. Trump, once again, open mouth, insert foot. I don't understand why he did this. Can somebody please enlighten me? He says, where is he? Where is he? Asking about Nikki Haley's husband, who is deployed overseas serving his country in the National Guard. Why would he start? Well, somebody please explain to me why he'd start picking on Nikki Haley's husband, who's in the National Guard serving overseas. Why would he pick on him like that? Where is he? Why ain't he here? Why ain't he here? What the hell?
Because that's what he does.
It makes no sense. I cannot for the life of me figure out why.
I can't.
What an
defend that
asshole.
one way or the other. I didn't hear him say that.
You don't
No,
talk
I
about
don't know anything
veterans.
about that.
You don't talk about family. You just don't do that. That's those are taboo. You know, and
Well, I
it's
don't.
wide open to those
But
people.
see, that's been his pattern, though. He does personal attacks.
Yeah, I guess that's it, Joe. He does. He says a lot of stupid shit on a lot of times. I cannot, beyond my comprehension, why you would support somebody that would say stupid shit on a lot of the times.
You know what, Joel? If he'd avoided a lot of that stuff, he would probably still be president.
You know why I won't.
But
I will not support him in
He can't-
any manner. Go ahead, Gary.
he can't help himself. He can't help himself. This is what he
I will-
does, and he's
I will
very
not-
he's very upfront about it. When if you vote for Trump, you know what you're going to get, and if that's what you want, then that's your privilege to vote for him. And what he's going to do is he's going to do personal attacks. He's not going to listen to anybody but his own advice, and he's just going to have his own way, and the rest of you can all be damned.
He doesn't care.
If that's what you want, see? Oh, he doesn't care. He doesn't care what you think. He doesn't care what the Congress thinks. He doesn't care much of what anybody else thinks except for Donald Trump. And if that's what you want,
me.
then vote for him.
It's me, and me.
This is a
All about me.
it's a
You know.
narcissism. You know, and not
Not
only am I right, but you're stupid and evil.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's been his pattern from day one. Well, I'm not so sure he knows how to learn a business as much as some other people.
Yeah,
You know, the
Yeah.
people.
I present for your enjoyment Trump sneakers, Trump steaks, Trump University. He's just not a good business person. He got his start handed to him on a silver spoon, and he's done nothing with it. He's farther in the hole than when he started out. I'm
I
not
have to
buying
disagree
that
with
he's
you,
good at
Allie.
business at all.
You can't disagree with Allie.
Trump sneakers sold out immediately. They're online reselling him $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
see how many of those sneakers get delivered.
Yeah. Get the money and say, oh well.
I don't have that kind of money.
No,
I already experiment.
No, the thing, yeah. Well, you know, Alex, I think the people who really should be running for president refuse to run because they don't want the crap. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me in a country of 332 million people, the best we've got to put up are these two old farts who are the oldest
with you,
people.
Gary.
Actually, last time they were the oldest people to run for the presidency, and now we're putting 4 more years on top of that.
It
Gee,
drives me
man.
crazy. I can't believe that either party had 4 years, and these are the candidates that they came up with. It's just
Two old white guys.
Well, the
I don't
Democrat,
like either one of them.
the Democrats know better than to try to put Kamala Harris in a position of running for president because that just she's too
She
polarized.
get tore up.
That ain't gonna happen.
She's too liberal.
And then, yeah.
well.
She's
I would
not
like to
smart
see
enough.
some minimum requirements so we don't get people who are in their 80s and trying to run for their second term, and we don't get criminals who are trying to take office. That would be a good step in the right direction right there.
Well, that eliminates both candidates.
Well, I don't.
Sure would.
And we may come to that, although it would probably take some sort of constitutional amendment And then by the time you got all that passed, then this election cycle is going to be well over. But it might be something to work on for the future.
Yeah.
That's possible. That's the talk, Joel. Gavin Newsom out of California is who they're going to stick in there at the last minute to run against Trump or Nikki Haley.
I
think that's wishful
throw a wild
thinking.
card in there. What about Robert Kennedy Jr.?
He's a wackadoo. Have you heard some of the stuff he said?
It's hard not to
Robert
put in
Ken-
a sitting president as your candidate. Robert Kennedy. What are we going to do? What about him?
He's got some pretty off the wall ideas.
He's not cozying up to any party though. It'll be interesting.
Thought he
See
was
how
a
this all
Democrat.
plays out.
They planned on
Well,
running
he
against
was for a while. He was for a while, but he's also made some noise about running as independent because he knows he's not going to be able to unseat Biden by trying for the Democratic nomination. As I said, it's hard not to put in a sitting president unless all of the people that are the power brokers in the party say, "Listen, man, we just don't need to run you again." But that's hard to do.
Even though he's 800 years old and fidgety. I mean, the way you tell the way he walks walks like a really old guy. I mean, we're old.
Well,
All of us in our 60s, but we're not old. He's old.
I agree. I'm not sure he's of sound mind.
I don't think he is. I think he's being led around. I detest Trump, but I don't like Biden. So it's one of the. I may vote for the Libertarian this time. Who knows? Yeah, that's true.
Well, good point, Andrew.
Well, back to what I said. Back when we started this thing, I'm firmly of the opinion that nobody much speaks for me. Nobody speaks for the guy who can see a little bit of both sides of the argument. Nobody speaks for the middle ground. Nobody speaks for the average American who just wants to get a handle on inflation and taxes and have a reasonable immigration policy, to support our allies and give condolences to them and to let our enemies beware. Where is the person in this country that's going to do that? If somebody would come up and do that, he'd have my undivided attention and I've seen some women that I'd like to put in office, in the highest office of the land. I think we'd do a bang-up job, but I don't know where they are.
I heard Tulsi
All
Gabbard.
I see is these far left and far right wingnuts, who some of them, as to steal a phrase from one of my favorite columnists, Dick Yarborough, that I'm either a right wing nut or a bedwetting liberal, and I'm not either one of those things. And I think the vast majority of Americans are like me, and that is why Donald Trump lost the election the last time, is because he said all these outrageous things, and nobody says, "Oh man, let's give somebody else a chance." Well, we gave him a chance, and things have screwed up. So let's make a different chance.
I don't know who's
The
pulling
committee.
his strings, but somebody is.
The committee, the people that run our
it's-
country that are not elected, that say this is what's going to happen.
Well,
There's a big board meeting.
It's the machine.
The machine. That was Steppenwolf came out of with a song 100 years ago, "The Monster," and it painted our government as it is today. So if you ever get a copy, if you ever want to listen to a good song, listen to "The Monster" by Steppenwolf. Came out in around 72, 73, something like that. Pretty good sounding song as well. Yeah, he walks like the butler on the movie Author. He absolutely does. He's just too old. It's been said that more Ukrainian deaths and injuries correlate with the lack of funds.
Although,
What?
What, Gary? You cut out.
oh, well, I was
Get
going to
some
say
lag.
that John Gielgud might make a pretty good president as compared to what we got. He had one of the great lines in that movie.
Which was?
Yeah, when he talked about when Arthur was dating, oh God, what was her name? The girl, the Barbara Streisand, no, not Streisand, but Judy Garland's sister.
Liza Minnelli.
Daughter Liza Minnelli. When he said, yes, one seldom finds a woman of her caliber outside of a bowling alley. That was a great line.
On a less fun topic, more Ukrainian deaths and injuries correlate to the lack of funds to fight Russia, according to an American trauma surgeon that's working in Ukraine right now. You know, that bipartisan bill that they Republicans shot down because Trump said don't let it get through in this election cycle, save it till when I'm the president. Well, we can't wait till he's the president or whoever's the president. Ukraine needs money and they need it now. And a lot more Ukrainians are dying because of it, which is absolutely ridiculous. Yay or nay?
Yeah,
Or
we
just
need
gonna
to. We need to support them somehow, under the table or over the table or around the table or something. They need help.
Yeah, and what
Well,
they
we
need,
also-
actually, I want
we also need to
to
be
weigh
getting
in
more
on
of the
something
NATO
Bill
countries.
said, which is that they need money. They actually need ammunition, airplanes, tanks, people, and what the money gets spent rebuilding our stockpiles that we send to them. So the money's spent in this country, and the ordnance, the equipment, all the above, the actual physical stuff actually goes to Ukraine, and they're just running out, and it's just the worst possible situation. I'll go back to something I said before on probably podcast number 3, which is that. Sorry, Bill, I'm saying that shoot, I lost the handle on my thought. God dang it, I hate it when that happens.
It's called getting old.
Pardon me. It's all about. Here it is. It came back to me. This is such a great opportunity to really hurt Russia, and we're passing up on it. I mean, we could put those people in the nickel seats, and we're not doing it. And it's just a waste. Maybe that's the thing that bugs me and everybody about it is it's just a waste. If we lead them out there and then run off and burn the bridge behind us, we can't afford to, for some reason, come up with a way to help them out. It's just a tragedy.
Well, I agree,
Joel,
and
I
think,
absolutely agree with you. We could have built
Well, some of
28
this has been
aircraft
wasted
carriers.
and frittered away. Come on,
Once
it's
again.
been wasted and frittered away because we got people that don't know what they're doing. We don't have enough support, I think. And I know that the Ukraine is not a member of NATO, but we don't have enough support from the people who are members of NATO who's got a dog in the fight. They expect us to step up and carry the load. We've got some help, but not enough. And give Trump some credit on that. At least he wanted to get more of those people involved in helping to police the world, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Frozen embryo are people. multiple embryos are typically frozen to improve chances of successful pregnancy. We all know that, how this works. But the state of Alabama says those frozen embryos are people. And so a lot of these people that do the procedure are stopping. One hospital in Alabama has already stopped because they don't want to get prosecuted. Do you think a frozen embryo is a person?
No, it's not viable at all.
I mean, if you pulled it out of the freezer and just left it, it would go away. It would melt. It would be. I don't see, hey, if they're not a living, breathing a baby inside the wound, I consider that a person. Because they're living off the mama, and they're developing.
Yes, well, it's a potential person, I guess we should say.
Yeah, I
But
would
it's
say
not
it'd
a
be
person
definitely a
yet.
potential.
Well, that's just like my sperm is potential person. I mean, it takes two to make one, but that's not protected.
I think they're going way over past where they should. I think some of these courts ought to just shut the hell up sometimes.
Yeah, of all places, Alabama.
Yeah. When you think Alabama's finally coming in the 20th century, they'll pull something like this and go back to being the dumbass state they are. I don't like Alabama. I don't like Auburn. Bunch of idiots. Rednecks. So much for fertility treatments in Alabama. I absolutely agree with that. We're in the 21st century. Okay.
Joel makes a good point here.
Good point, Joel. Thanks. I feel like a dumbass sometimes. Inside joke, folks. Last thing, measles on the rise. I thought we eradicated that shit. What's this all about?
Apparently not.
People that are scared to be vaccinated.
Anti-vaxxers
People are scared to be vaccinated. I think that's part of it.
Can I get them? That's what I'm worried about. I mean, I've had the measles before.
But have you been vaccinated?
I've had.
You kind of had to go to school
I think so.
back in the day.
Yeah.
And if you had them,
you
you ain't
did.
got to worry about getting them again. I think I got them.
Not the type
As
of
a matter
what they used. What they used to call the red measles. You could if you had that once, you're supposedly immune for life. What they used to call the German measles. One was rubella and one was rubeola. I think that was right. I think you could get that at multiple times. So I'm not so sure, but I had
Well, I don't
both
want
kinds. I
either
also
one of
had
them.
chicken pox. But you get vaccinated from that now.
Yeah, I got vaccinated for
Get vaccinated for chicken
shingles,
pox.
which is a.
Yeah, I did too.
I don't know. So I had any kids starting school in about 30 years. So it's kind of out of my reach to know what they have to be vaccinated for now.
Well, you have to have some sort of exemption not to be vaccinated with the MMRs and all that kind of stuff for the kids. But the problem is a lot of people are applying for that on the basis of things like religious or beliefs or some sort of a reaction to vaccines, et cetera, et cetera. If you keep doing that, then all this stuff is going to make a comeback.
Wow, they're up to 60 now. That's a lot of vaccines.
I don't know about 60. I think my grandkids took the usual dose. They're in school.
I don't know how many you got to take. You think I would know, but I don't.
I'd have to look that up. I don't know either. I'll confess. I was thinking maybe a dozen.
I know we took
Okay.
smallpox, polio, MMR. I don't know. They didn't have chicken
Well,
pox back then.
I had the mumps. And I had.
Oh yeah, I had them too.
I mean,
I had the
all
measles.
all those childhood diseases.
When I got, I don't
I
know
had
if it
all
was
those
me or
childhood
my
diseases.
brother Dickie that had got measles. One of us got it, and Mom and Daddy took the other one and put them in the bedroom with him and made them stay. So they would catch the measles, so they didn't have to worry about it. But that's how one of us got it and the other one had to get it. So they just kind of stuck us in a room together, and the other one got it too. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's go on to our next portion of our show. I think everybody's starting to really enjoy. How about now?
All right. Well, I'm going to stand up for just a second so you can see. Can you all see my T-shirt here? Yeah. Move around a little bit. All right. There we go. My lovely wife, Jill, whom I love beyond belief, I've been on vacation, and on one of those days, we stayed in and binge watched Yellowstone. I mean, from 10 in the morning till after midnight. Now, if you're not familiar with Yellowstone, it is a modern Western set in Montana, and the show started on 2018. And it's the brainchild of a guy by the name of Taylor Sheridan. And somewhere I read he was kind of wanting to put The Godfather in Montana. And it's filmed mostly in Montana and Utah for the first part of the show. And I think now it's mostly, if not all, filmed in Montana, maybe for a few set pieces here and there, or for some out-of-state stuff. Oh, gorgeous vistas. Unbelievable scenery. And it's set on a real ranch, which passes for the Yellowstone, the Dutton Ranch. It's called the Chief Joseph Ranch. Kevin Costner is the lead, and he's the best known person of this ensemble cast of a whole bunch of different characters. He plays John Dutton, who's the patriarch of the clan of a group of highly dysfunctional people. The breakout character is the daughter of John, Beth Dutton, played by a British actress by the name of Kelly Riley. And her character is the ultimate queen bee. And I do not mean the insect or Beyonce. She is cruel, vindictive, and she drinks a lot. In fact, most of these people drink a lot on this show. And the character has even given rise to a meme. Don't make me go all Beth Dutton on you. In fact, I was in a store the other day and there was one of those big cardboard cutouts, and it was the character of Beth Dutton. She's damaged. While John's sole purpose in life appears to be preserving his ranch and the way of life they have in Montana at all costs, and I do mean all costs. He even got himself elected governor of Montana on a platform which was against all progress. Imagine that. These characters lie and they scheme and they murder, whatever gets them to the next thing, and they're all kind of damaged. Underlying themes of rich versus poor, racism, particularly against Native Americans, I might add. The Godfather indeed. Yet, you see there are elements of tenderness and love, even in the midst of characters that are really quite despicable. And we watch it. Why? I wondered. Why do we watch this stuff? Are we watching them to say, well, as bad as I am, at least I don't do that? And we pat ourselves on the back and celebrate our own relative goodness. Is that why we do things? But another show Jill and I watched was Magnum P.I., the reboot, not this was the one that was based on the original, which starred Tom Selleck back in the 80s. Now, the new guy was a fellow by the name of Jay Hernandez, and he is in the Selleck role. Now, in this one, Higgins is a woman, played by another British actress by the name of Perdita Weeks, and she's a former MI6 operative, which makes for some interesting things. Now, the thing about this is it began on CBS, moved to NBC for a short period of time, and in direct contrast to Yellowstone, all of these characters are admirable. They all love and respect and support one another. Now, there's violence, of course, in the storyline, which was set amongst PIs and cops. But in direct contrast to Yellowstone, these people you like. Even when Magnum and his buddies have to use violence, it's always for the right reasons, and it's against the bad guys. Even when they have to bend the law a little bit, they ultimately do the right thing. It's not been renewed after it jumped to NBC. Yellowstone, on the other hand, is going to lose Costner, but it's already spawned prequels with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill in something called 1883, and then in 1923 with a fellow by the name of Harrison Ford and the great Helen Mirren. And there's rumors of other stuff to come. So the good and decent folks of Magnum get canceled, but Yellowstone lives on. What does that say about us, I wonder? That's my time out. Thanks for yours. I'm Gary Glenn.
This webcast is brought to you by William Lofton Photography. They can be found at williamlofton.com. Offering event residential portraiture at williamlofton.com.
Okay, last week was Immigration Part 1, Legal Immigration. This week is Immigration Part 2, Illegal Immigration. Illegal immigrants are defined as those who enter the U.S. illegally, not at a border crossing or a point of entry, or whose legal immigrant status expires after they're here. Illegal immigration by the numbers, there's very little research and reliable data for illegal immigration. Here is the best estimate I can find for illegal immigration in 2022. In 2022, there were about 350,000 net illegal immigrants who came across the border and entered our country. That year, there were also over 1 million legal immigrants who came in, did all the filings, came through a border crossing, had their paperwork ready, and are legally in this country. Total immigration in 2022, legal and illegal, was 1,430,000. For better perspective, here is my best estimate for net illegal immigration from 1990 to 2023. I'm going to put up this graph. Okay, so this is running from 1990 to 2023. A few things to note about this graph. Our highest illegal immigration occurred during 2006 and 2007, leading up to the Great Recession. The next highest year was back in 1997 during the Clinton administration. We experienced a net negative illegal immigration in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Maybe the most important thing to note is that illegal immigration is no higher now, on average, than it has been in the last 30 years. So illegal immigration isn't out of control, but it's not under control. It creates a lot of issues for our country: economic, political, legal, governmental, and humanitarian. Yelling isn't going to fix it. We have to stop letting ourselves be divided by politicians and others who use illegal immigration as a means to an end. The last comprehensive immigration policy was signed into law in 1965. The 20th century bill. There was a significant immigration bill that passed the Senate in 2005. It failed in the House. If that bill was brought up again today, it would be old enough to vote. Immigration, including illegal immigration, is an awesome resource for our country, and it could be better for everyone. Our country, the illegals and their families, and the businesses and economic sectors that rely on the labor of illegals. So this doesn't have to be the last on the topic. Let's talk more. At some point, maybe it would be good to have a little session where we talk about everyone's ideas for dealing with illegal immigration. All right. Thank you.
All right, this week's sports. Monday was the rain-delayed 66th running of the Daytona 500 in Daytona, Florida. William Byron in the number 24 Chevrolet won it and received 51 points towards the end of the year playoffs. Second place was Alex Bowman. He also drives a Chevrolet number 48 for the Hendrick Motorsports team. The race ended in caution. There were a lot of several big wrecks, including one right there at the end. Chase Elliott was 14th in his number 9 Chevrolet. It's spring baseball season for the major leagues as pitchers and catchers reported this week to their respective locations in Florida or Arizona. So it's almost time for spring training games. In the NBA was the All-Star game this weekend with the East beating the West 211 to 186. Needless to say, this almost 400-point game was not a defensive battle. If you like offenses and slam dunks and this was your game. Most pundits, however, were not thrilled with the performance. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, was definitely not thrilled. And some say, including Stephen A. Smith of ESPN, that it was a travesty. Damian Lillard was the MVP. At this point in the season, the halfway point, I guess, or a little bit more than halfway point, in the standings in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics are still way ahead with a 6-game lead at 43-12 record. They're ahead of second place Cleveland at 36-17. The poor Hawks are still 10th, 19 games back of the Celtics. In the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves are 1.5 games ahead of the Oklahoma City Thunder, with the LA Lakers and LeBron James in 9th, 9.5 games back. In men's basketball, UConn is still ranked first, even though they were upset this Monday by Creighton, number 15 Creighton. Followed in second by Houston, then Purdue, Arizona, and Tennessee. Kentucky's in 17th after a dismal season, losing 7 games. All in all, there are 7 SEC teams in the top 25, however. In women's hoops, South Carolina is still number 1 with an undefeated 25-0 record, followed closely by Ohio State and Stanford, Iowa, and Texas. Caitlin Clark of Iowa became the Big Ten and NCAA all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball, scoring a team's high 49 points in a win over Michigan. If you haven't seen Caitlin Clark play, do so. She's really something else. In the PGA, at the Riviera Country Club, the Genesis Invitational, the winner was Hideki Matsuyama at 17 under. Will Zalatoris and Luke List were tied for second at 14 under. This week, the tour will be in Mexico for the Mexico Championship. On course, Vedanta Vallarta, purse of over $8 million. That's a lot of pesos. Also, this week is the start of basketball playoffs for high school here in Georgia. So if you haven't been to a game, do so now. Support these local kids who have worked really hard. They deserve the support and your money. That's it for this week's sports.
Well, hey there. It's weather or not. On weather, it seems like California's getting battered again with some storms, big storms, a lot of rain. They've got more rain in the last month than they have all year. It's way too much rain, and it's causing the erosion of the coast. Some places it's come back 7 feet this year. And it's also causing mudslides where these billion-dollar houses are like teetering over the side and fixing to go into the ocean. I wouldn't have built my house there if I had that kind of money. And on the not side, something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. The most recent polling data from December 2023 puts the approval rating of the United States Congress at 15%. 15%. That's right. 15% approve of what's going on in Congress right now. That's an increase from the previous month. So, they got 15%. That's great. Did you know that there are 61 age 70 to 79 in Congress and 11 80 years old plus? That's 72 too damn old. It's ridiculous what's going on in Congress right now. I'll bring up a graph for you real quick. It's about a quarter of both Democrats and Republicans have a favorable view of Congress. Well, this graph's a little bit different, and it says 26%. Well, that's better than 15, but still 26%, and that's pretty much dead on with Democrats and Republicans. And my thing is that we need term limits. I'm trying to put up another. There we go. That way, we've got a Facebook group called Drain the Swamp. One of the things I like that Trump actually did. He came up with that slogan, drain the swamp. Or somebody that works for him did. Term limits. That's the answer. We cannot keep dealing with what we got going on in Washington. Or these people come in there and make themselves millionaires at our expense. And their main primary goal, 100%, is to get reelected. The next thing on their agenda is way below that. 75% of their energy, if that little, more like 95% of their energy as a congressman and whatnot, is to get reelected. But how can we get U.S. term limits, the constitutional amendment? Well, they have not made it easy. They have fixed it where it's really hard, but it's doable. It can happen in one or two ways. First, Congress can propose the amendment with a 2/3 vote. Currently, Ralph Norman of South Carolina and Senator Ted Cruz of Texas are sponsoring that motion or amendment on Capitol Hill. It calls for a 3-term, 6-year limit on representation and a 2-term, 12-year limit on senators. It asks that all candidates from Congress sign a pledge in support of the amendment. You can get this information at termlimits.com. Termlimits.com. I'll give you all the information I'm giving you now and more. If Congress refuses to pass term limits on itself, which is pretty damn likely, the citizens and activists can use Term Limits Convention. The Term Limits Convention allows 34 state legislators to convene a meeting to write an amendment for congressional term limits. The process bypasses Washington and allows people and the states to impose congressional term limits. What they want them to do is they want them to sign. Hit the wrong one. They want them to sign this pledge, and believe it or not, there's 5 in our state representatives that have already signed it from Georgia: Ferguson, McCormick, Collins, Allen, and believe it or not, Marjorie Greene. The pledge is that as a member of Congress, I will co-sponsor and vote for the U.S. term limits amendment of 3 House terms and 2 Senate terms and no longer limit. This is not a pledge to self-limit. Wouldn't let me put the rest of it on there. But the bottom line is, we're tired of old white guys running our country that got too much money. I don't mind the person having money. That's a good thing, but don't make it off the backs of the American people. We're sick of it, and we want it to end now. Termlimits.com. Or you can go to our Facebook group and join, where we have some information there, and we'll point you to termlimits.com. But that's where it's all happening right now. Well, we're back for our finishing.
Are we
Coming up.
finishing?
We're finishing
Here we
up.
go.
Anybody got anything to say?
No, it was a nice day today. You could have covered that on the weather. It was beautiful out there.
Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
I'll tell you what,
Yep.
guys.
Yep.
This is our 25th. This is our 25th episode. And I just wanted to propose a toast to my friends and colleagues to another 25 down the pike. Here's to you guys.
All right.
Salute.
And to
Well-
the people that are with us the whole way.
Well, thank you for everybody for tuning in, and in the words of that eminent existential philosopher, Red Skelton, good night, and may God bless.
Good night.
Good night, guys.